At 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, an HOA president made a $2 million mistake that landed her in federal prison. It all started with a pair of bolt cutters and the wrong military vehicle. The sound of those cutters biting through my security chain echoed through the suburban silence. That metallic snap was the exact moment Bethany Kensington Wright went from neighborhood dictator to federal felon. My name is Marcus Tank Rodriguez. I'm an Army Reserve MP, and recently, I was accepted into a highly specialized federal drug task force. 3 months ago, I inherited my grandmother's house in a place called Willowbrook Estates. It's one of those picture-perfect suburban developments where every house is the exact same shade of beige. Grandma's house was supposed to be my sanctuary, a quiet place to come home to. But Bethany, the HOA president, a real estate agent who literally measures grass with a ruler, had other plans for me and my neighborhood. Just 2 weeks after I deployed overseas, the violation notices started flooding my inbox. The target, my government-issued Jeep Wrangler. It was clearly marked with federal decals, parked neatly in my own driveway. But Bethany labeled it an unauthorized commercial vehicle. The fines were $50 a day. My sister, Maya, a schoolteacher who was keeping an eye on the house for me, tried to reason with her. She showed Bethany my official deployment orders, explaining I was serving our country. Bethany's response was cold and dismissive. Rules are rules, she snapped, completely ignoring the fact that I was on active duty. But here's the thing about bullies like Bethany. They count on you not knowing the rules yourself. I had Maya dig up the original 1987 HOA bylaws, the founding documents of our community. And right there, in black and white, it stated that government and emergency vehicles were specifically exempt from those rules. Bethany wasn't just enforcing rules, she was fabricating them. She was using her power to intimidate military families. But why? What was her motive? It turns out, her husband, Carl, was a city councilman. He had a lucrative luxury condo deal in the works that hinged on clearing out certain residents to artificially hike property values. Our homes, our community, were just pawns in their greedy game. Bethany's harassment escalated quickly. She sent a registered letter demanding the vehicle be towed within 24 hours. My sister Maya called me in a full-blown panic. A tow truck was already circling the block like a vulture. That's when I decided it was time to unleash my first counterpunch. I was done playing defense. From my base, halfway around the world, I contacted JAG, the military's legal arm. These are lawyers who eat constitutional violations for breakfast. They immediately confirmed what I suspected. Threatening to tow federal law enforcement property is a serious felony. With their guidance, I remotely activated the Jeep's sophisticated security system, and the footage it captured was beautiful. It showed Bethany trespassing on my property 17 times in just 3 days. She was snooping around, trying to peer inside, even attempting to photograph the classified dashboard equipment. This wasn't just about an eyesore vehicle anymore, this was espionage, plain and simple. I forwarded the footage to my task force supervisor, Captain Sarah Chen. After watching it, she asked me one simple question. Tank, how fast do you want me to make this woman's life complicated? My answer was just as simple, as fast as humanly possible. Ma'am, Captain Chen understood that an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. The full weight of the federal government was about to come down on Willowbrook Estates. The breaking point came at dawn. Through the Jeep's internal cameras, I watched in real time as Bethany, still in her silk bathrobe, marched onto my driveway holding a massive pair of bolt cutters. With a single, decisive snap, she broke my security locks. She had hired a shady no-questions-asked tow company to get the job done. But even that driver wasn't stupid. He saw the federal markings and the official government plates and refused to touch it. He knew exactly what kind of trouble that would bring. In a fit of pure hysteria, Bethany then made her most critical error. She used her HOA authority to change the locks on the main community gate, effectively imprisoning federal property inside the neighborhood. That single act elevated her crimes from simple harassment to obstruction of justice, a charge that federal prosecutors take very, very seriously. Within hours, the cavalry arrived. Not the local police, but a team of U.S. Marshals. When a towering marshal informed Bethany they were there to secure federal assets, she uttered the words that sealed her fate. She declared, "I don't recognize federal authority over private HOA property." The game was officially over. I landed stateside 72 hours later. The first thing I saw was my sister Maya, holding a thick binder. While I was coordinating with the feds, she had been doing some digging of her own, and what she uncovered was a mountain of evidence. This wasn't just about my Jeep anymore. This was a full-blown RICO case. Bethany and her husband, Carl, had embezzled nearly $200,000 in HOA funds. They were systematically targeting elderly and military residents with fraudulent violations, trying to force them to sell their homes cheap. The emergency HOA meeting was a media circus. News cameras and angry neighbors packed the community clubhouse. Bethany walked in with her head held high, like a queen arriving at her coronation, completely oblivious to the storm that was about to break. Then, I took the podium. I didn't just talk about my Jeep, I laid out the entire criminal conspiracy, piece by piece. I presented the forged violation notices, the bank records showing the embezzled funds, and the timeline of their civil rights conspiracy against the most vulnerable members of our community. The room was silent at first, then a low murmur grew into a roar of outrage. As the handcuffs clicked shut on Bethany's wrists, the room erupted in applause. Justice had finally come to Willowbrook. She was ultimately sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for theft of government property, wire fraud, and witness intimidation. The total value of the surveillance equipment in my Jeep, by the way, was over $300,000. Add in the fines and legal fees, and her mistake cost her and the city well over $2 million. Her husband, Carl, received 6 years and a lifetime ban from holding public office. Today, my sister Maya is the new HOA president. She runs it with fairness and transparency. And on the empty lot where Bethany's house once stood, we built a beautiful veteran memorial park, a tribute to service and sacrifice. Our neighborhood is finally a true community again, a place where people look out for each other. It just goes to show you, no matter how much power a suburban bully thinks they have, they are never, ever above the law. Thanks for watching. If you have your own story about a nightmare HOA, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of justice being served.